All right, my people, welcome back to this wonderful channel where we bring you back-to-back information and update as the hot. Information reaching us is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu'S lawyer said that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu'S freedom is not an act of mercy but right thing to be done. And I agree with what he is saying because it is just because we are in the third world country where human right is not upheld, because if we are to be in a country where human right works, of course you know that what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is fighting for is just for the freedom of his people, and self-determination is quite very legal. Meanwhile, if this is your first time of joining us on this wonderful channel, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We are on all social media handle: Facebook, Twitter, Telegram. You can see us there. They said that Special Counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Aloy Ejimako, say several calls by individual and group to the federal government for the release of his clients are not pleas for mercy, but doing the right thing. Ejimako said this in a press release titled, "Releasing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, but an act of doing the right thing," on Tuesday. The lawyer said it is not supposed to be in the custody of the Department of State Service by now because the law has declared his detention illegal. He added that the failure of the DSS and the federal government to free the Biafran leader in the present circumstance manifestly extrajudicial and unconditional to boot. In the midst of the widespread call for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and the likelihood that some of these calls sound like or might be misconstrued as pleading for mercy, it has become necessary and urgent to issue the following clarification, Ejimako said. Defending his statement, Ejimako stated that the matter of releasing Nnamdi Kanu is not an act of mercy, executive clemency, or even amnesty. Instead, it is an act of doing the right thing by simply complying with the subsisting municipal court order or the standing international tribunal decision that independently declared his detention illegal. Alternatively, the decision can also properly proceed through a sound invocation of the copious constitutional provision on discontinuation of prosecution, such as this one that is irredeemable, unsustainable. For the avoidance of doubt, Nnamdi Kanu's continuing detention is not legal but is, in the present circumstance, manifestly extrajudicial and unconstitutional to boot. Even the inception of his detention following the rendition was also not legal because extraordinary rendition is an egregious state crime that destroyed the legal capacity of the state to detain the victim of the rendition. In addition to also complicating the prosecutorial powers of the state against such victim. It is pertinent to note that in the previous but related matter of the infamous prosecution of IPOB and the attendant criminalization of its vast members by the Nigerian government in 2017, I promptly levied a continental legal challenge against the proscription. And in March 2018, the Continental Tribunal ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB, and accordingly directed the Nigerian government to reverse the proscription and cease and desist from any further law enforcement actions against Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB members. Thus, the subsequent rendition of Nnamdi Kanu, the arrest, the detention, the torture, the disappearance, and the widespread extrajudicial killing of IPOB members should not have happened, and the authorities comply with this landmark continental decision. It is relevant to stress the fact that Following the rendition, I had also initiated a complex constitutional suit against the government of Nigeria. And on 26 October 2022, the Federal High Court ruled in favor of Nnamdi Kanu and accordingly declared both the extraordinary rendition and the consequent detention as flagrant violation of the Constitution. Thus, Nnamdi Kanu's release from detention vested from the very day this judgment was given. And the day are still counting to this day because the judgment is extant and not stayed. Therefore, if Nigeria truly respects her constitution and her court, it will be needless to be constantly calling on the authorities to release Nnamdi Kanu on a competent judgment that unambiguously ordered his release. Recall also that in July 2022, the United Nations, in a highly critical opinion, unequivocally directed that Nnamdi Kanu should be freed unconditionally and even went further to call on Nigeria to pay repatriation to him as recompense for the rendition. As a bona fide member of the United Nations, Nigeria is bound by treaty and customary international law to faithfully comply with his directive. Failing to do so stigmatizes Nigeria as a nation and lacks respect for the United Nations, the same institution that passed the historic resolution that legalized self-determination and thus saw Nigeria's independence. In view of the foregoing, it is a fallacy to suggest that releasing Nnamdi Kanu from detention is an act of mercy and failing that. An event that must await the uncertain conclusion of the appeal currently pending and delaying before the Supreme Court. To be sure, Nnamdi Kanu's fate does not lie in this appeal alone because the appeal is but one of the several cases that were triggered municipally and internationally by the extraordinary rendition. And all these cases are independent, of equal stature, and aimed at securing Nnamdi Kanu's release. Therefore, the different moments in time when two of these several cases, in particular, the one initiated at the Federal High Court and the one initiated at the United Nations, both of which had concurrent jurisdiction over the rendition, were determined in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. The narrative that freeing him lies exclusively in the hands of the Supreme Court is fundamentally false. It is also malicious, prejudicially and profoundly injurious to Nnamdi Kanu's legal interest, especially as it offers the authorities the umbrage and easy political cover to persist in the illegal detention of Nnamdi Kanu. Finally, it needs to be emphasized that for the obvious reason that Nnamdi Kanu is neither currently facing any trial nor does he have any charges standing against him, his detention in reality imprisonment without conviction. In plain terms, he is a victim of false imprisonment by the state, a rough and tough imprisonment that is more horrendous when the locus is not a prison or a correctional institution, but a hideous DSS cell, which is no different from a dank police cell or even worse in some ramification. My people, I don't see as they follow the hot. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer don't talk the truth. Oh. And if you look at what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer is saying, that is the truth, because the United Nations Court has decided, also the appellate court has decided. So I think the government keeping Nnamdi Kanu in the DSS detention is illegal. It's just that this is man inhumanity to man, and because it is issue that has to do with the state, the individual have no say about it, because the state has all the tools, all the machineries, everything that is needed to be able to execute the case. Because as it stands now, when it comes to the issue that concerns Nigeria, it looks as if the government have bought the judiciary, bought the legislature, they also bought the executive, so they control everything. and these people don't have a say in anything that is going on. Meanwhile, I'll be winding down the curtain here, and if this is your first time of joining us on this wonderful channel, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, like, comment, share, and also remember to on your notification button so that whenever we are posting news, you will be the first to collect it. Thank you for listening. God bless you.